April 2052. As the nations of the world advance and grow, their need for fuel increases to power their vehicles, light their cities, and fuel their industry. Following the increased scarcity of resources, chief among them oil, the Middle East, the main supplier of the European Commonwealth, began to increase the prices of oil. In response to this, the European Commonwealth took military action to seize the oil for themselves. Within 2 months of this war taking place, the UN began to fracture, due in part to too many member states leaving. After it was established, the UN had the inability to maintain or restore international order, leading to the eventual dissolvement of the United Nations on July 26, 2052. Following a terrorist detonating a nuclear device in Tel Aviv in December 2053, destroying the city, and the acceleration of the European Commonwealth Middle Eastern war going nuclear, fear of a nuclear holocaust gripped the world. This would lead to the United States government commissioning Project Safe House in January of 2054. These fallout shelters were designed to protect the American people from nuclear Armageddon and placate the public's worry, resulting in the construction of over 122 vaults all over the country. As well as this, to protect the US oil reserves in Alaska, the Alaskan Front Line was established in 2059. And after 8 years of bloody war, a war people forget why it was started in the first place, comes to an end as the last oil fields in the Middle East run dry, leaving Alaska as the only source of oil left on the earth. Following the end of the war, the European Commonwealth collapsed into warring nation-states, fighting for what precious resources remained. Meanwhile, 5,000 miles away in Alaska, China, infuriated by the US takeover of the Alaskan Pipeline in 2054, launched a massive invasion of Alaska led by General Jing Wei in 2066, with its main goal of seizing the Alaskan oil reserves, resulting in the creation of the Anchorage Front Line. Under the leadership of General Constantine Chase, the US forces led a dogged defense of the Anchorage Front Line to stop Communist China from achieving her goal. By 2067, the first suits of T-45D power armor were deployed to the front, completely leveling the playing field and giving the Americans a considerable advantage over Chinese forces, as one power armor unit could carry the strength of a tank or an entire team of soldiers with just one man. Following the rapid deployment of the T-45D model to the Anchorage Front Line, the US forces finally began pushing back China, to the point where they even reclaimed the Trans-Alaskan Pipeline. Although one thing stood between the US and victory: Canada. By 2069, the United States, in order to get more resources for the war, began to drain Canada of its natural resources, cutting down large swaths of timberland. With the US exploitation of these resources brought Canada to the breaking point, resulting in large-scale protests across the country, although these are largely ignored. Following years of growing Canadian discontent and Canadian attempts at sabotage of the US oil pipelines led to the official US annexation of Canada in 2072. By 2076, the annexation of Canada is complete, with any dissidents being immediately shot on sight, and by June that year, the T-51B power armor is invented, becoming the most powerful suit of power armor before the Great War. In an effort to force China to pull out of Alaska and overextend them, the United States led an invasion of the Chinese mainland, looking to strain and eventually cut off Chinese forces' supplies. This tactic proved effective, as by January 2077, Alaska was fully reclaimed by the US forces. However, this victory was bittersweet, as only 9 months later, on October 3rd, 2077, nuclear warheads rained down on the world as the nuclear Armageddon so feared came to be.